I wanted to make another video today. My goal, a simple one. So I thought, I wanted to be comfortable with the filmmaking process, have the process down, and I want to become more comfortable in front of the camera. But I was struggling today. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know that if what I wanted to say was worth saying. I didn't know if what I wanted to say was something that people wanted to listen to. I just didn't know. So I asked myself a common coaching question. What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? Now, throw in some extra Tony Robbins advice. Raise your standards. Turn your shoulds into musts. And now it's got me really thinking. So it got me thinking, what would I do if I knew I couldn't fail? What would I do if I raised my standards? Now, I probably would do something really epic, something truly legendary, something that would be celebrated for years to come. Then you know what happened? Absolutely nothing. Nothing epic, nothing legendary, nothing worth celebrating. Then after a whole load of nothing, it hit me. I realized that there is something fundamentally wrong with this question. What would you do if you knew you wouldn't fail? It's essentially saying, if you knew you were invincible, then what would you do? Now the reality is that is not possible. In fact, this is a fantasy that separates failure from reality. And the more that I engage in this fantasy of being epic, being truly celebrated, the more separated from reality I became. So, after engaging in fantasy for so long, living in a fantasy where you're epic, where you're celebrated, what happens when you try to step back into reality? You can't. You can't because essentially your goal has now become a free-floating reality. It's impossible to reach, and no matter what you do, you will fail. So therefore, you are stuck. Now, in addition to being stuck, throw in some good old Tony Robbins, raise your standards, turn your shoulds into musts, really add that pressure, gear yourself up. What happens? The pressure becomes too much. You're stuck and the pressure is crushing you and you can't escape, but you try to. How about the reverse? What would you do if you had to fail along towards your goal? What would you do if no one was watching you? If no one is watching, then I can do anything. It's okay to fail because no one cares. Throw in some reverse Tony Robbins, lower your standards, forget about your must and your should altogether. Then what happens? What would I do? I'll do something simple. I'll do something forgettable. I'll do anything because no one is watching. Then, when I can start, I can fail. I can quickly fail my way to success. So if there's one thing that I learned today, it's okay to fail. So, if you're watching this, good luck failing.